Do you want to know how I actually quintupled my income? Well, I'm about to tell you. My name is Dr. Kiki Ramsey, your favorite positive psychologist and career coach. And I don't know if you saw this article. It was in the Business Insider, and the headline read, "A social worker," that's me, "who quit to become a life coach explains how she made a career pivot and quintupled her salary." So that was me. I love when this article came out because I had all the social worker girlies in my DMs asking me how I did that. And I am so happy to be able to share, because here's the thing. I set out to not just really quintuple my income, although that's what happened. I set out to find career happiness because, girl, let me tell you this. I was unhappy. I was burnout. I was all the things. And so here I was, this amazing social worker. I have been a social worker for probably 10 to 15 years. And I've done everything in the world of social work. I started off in child welfare, which was very noble, a very humbling experience, but I lasted 9 months in my first job. This is my first career corporate job. And I must say, I didn't last a long time. I lasted 9 months. But here's what happened. I had such a high caseload, and I was taking care of all the babies, and I would be at the hospital at night with these little beautiful children who are in these very tough situations. And I was thinking about their well-being and their safety, but I was also thinking about how much I wasn't at home with my own son. So here I am doing my job, which I felt was needed, because it is needed, but I'm not at home with my own son. And I felt some kind of way about that. And I asked myself, is this the way that I want to live? And the answer I came up with was no, which is the very reason why I only lasted 9 months in that job. But here's the thing. At that time, I wasn't willing or ready to transition from social work because I just got there. I done went to school and got a master's in social work. So I wasn't at the place where I was willing to transition out of social work. I wasn't that burnout. I just was burnt out with the first job. So I moved on and I became a director of a teen moms program. And then ultimately I got into where I wanted to be, which was in medical social work. And for a very long time, I rode that job out, and it was pretty awesome. But during that time, I just started to feel this pull on my life. Number one, to even have more kids of my own. Number two, to speak into the lives of women by starting my own business in speaking. And I am no stranger to entrepreneurship. I've been an entrepreneur all my life, and I've been doing a lot of that on the side. But this time I really wanted to kind of like figure out how to do it on a full-time basis. And so I had that pull on my life, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Am I going to ultimately quit my job? And so long story short, I did quit my job as a social worker, but I quit my job first as a social worker to become a speaker. A lot of people don't know that, but I started my speaking career, and speaking is the thing that ultimately led me to coaching, because as I was speaking, women started asking me to help them. And I was like, sure, I can help you. But I later found out that thing was coaching. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then I also, around the same time, found out about positive psychology. And if you don't know about positive psychology is the study of what goes right with you. So instead of only thinking about what's wrong with us, positive psychology says, oh, these are the things that are right with you. Let's really dig into those. And then we can also work on the things that you want to improve on. And so I found those two things. And so the love of everything that I was doing with social work and speaking and all that just collided into one thing. And that became this beautiful coaching business that I have today. But here's the thing. When I was thinking about going back to school or getting a certification in coaching, I was also thinking about what career could I do that was going to leave me to use some of the skills that I already talked about. And so there's going to be 4 things that I talked to you about in this video that made all of the difference in my career as I pivoted, and then ultimately was able to quintuple my income. And so the first one was that I stopped trading money or time for money. Listen, y'all know we clock in, we clock out. And if you're a really career professional, ain't no clocking in and clocking out. It's like it's a mental thing. We go to work and then we're supposed to get off. But sometimes it don't feel like you just be getting off, right? Sometimes it feel like we always are at work. But here's the thing. One of the biggest shifts I made was I realized that I was being paid for my time and not my value. I was being paid for my time, not my value. I say in this article that I feel like social workers should be making 6 figures. Hands down, period. Teachers should be making 6 figures. But it seems like these professions, the ones that help the most, get paid the least, and we give the most time. And I just don't think that's fair. I think that our skills and just the amount of work that we put into something should be valued, and it should be valued by the way that we are paid. When I was a social worker, in the beginning of my career, I was making $40,000. I lived in DC. Let me just say that. And that's not going too far in the DC or the DMV area. So it was really, really hard. And so the thing about social work, or the thing about any kind of career job, for the most part, is capped. Now, I'm not one of those people who subscribes to the fact that everybody should be an entrepreneur. I don't think that. But you also have to think about, is your job based on your value, or are you just making $1? Right? Is it capped because they don't see your value, right? There's always a ceiling with that when it comes to working just a job, right? So I had to realize that no matter how hard I worked in that industry, that there was going to be a limit on what I earned. And I think professionals need to think about that. Now, whether you want to become an entrepreneur or not, I still think you need to think about that. And I think that when you decide to get into a career, you need to get into a career that is going to pay you what you're worth, but also pay you to live the way you want to live. And I thought I had thought about that, but in all actuality, I didn't give it enough thought, because I know that profession doesn't necessarily pay the kind of salary that I ultimately wanted to pay. And so this first lesson that I really learned is that if your income is tied to hours, your growth will always be limited. I'm just saying, if it's tied to hours, it's going to always be limited. And so there's some things that you need to think about there in terms of how you want to ultimately grow your career. So number 2, the thing that I learned in this pivot, in this transition, was that I needed to leverage the skills that I already had. Listen, I didn't go to school to become a social worker for nothing. When I tell you that was my foundation, it taught me everything in terms of how to help people. I learned so much, and that foundation has always stuck with me. And I also think that that's why I'm such in tune to women and the needs of people. And I also think it's really why I can be an amazing coach now, is because I had that beautiful foundation. And so I had to stretch myself. But here's the thing. I stretched myself in what I already knew. I didn't have to start from scratch, right? And you don't have to start from scratch. I built on what I already knew, because I already knew some foundational skills, and I could use those foundational skills, and so can you. So I had some deep expertise in human behavior and transformation and in helping people. And this helped me reposition already what I knew into a new career. And so you don't necessarily have to start all over to go to the next level. Your next level is probably hidden in what you already know. And I'm so glad that I really thought about my strengths. I did a strengths assessment. I'm like, girl, you can communicate, you got to talk to people, you got to get out there and network, you got to do all those things. And so how can you use those skills to your ability? And that's what you need to ask yourself. What skills do you already have that can transition to the next career or to the next business, and then try to capitalize on that. Now, I didn't say that that you would never have to go back to school or never have to get a certification. I ultimately went back to school and got a master's in positive psychology coaching because I really wanted to know how to coach, but I still was able to build on my skills as a social worker. All right. Number 3, I invested in myself before I saw any return. Listen, I made an investment in my education and my growth before I saw the real payoff. Now, I was coaching, but the real payoff came after I got my certification. And now I'm a master certified coach, and sky is the limit in terms of how much I can make. But I invested in myself before I made the payoff. I had a payoff. And it's so beautiful when I see my clients come in and they invest in coaching before they get the next raise or the promotion, because guess what? That's the thing that's going to get them there. Right? You need partnership. You need certifications. You need to up level in your skills sometime before you're going to ultimately see the payoff. So for me, I pursued a master's degree in positive psychology, which positioned me to get into coaching and to make more money. You see how that works? Because here's the bottom line there. You can't expect a 6-figure outcome with a minimum investment mindset. Girl, let me say it again. You cannot expect a 6-figure outcome with a minimal investment mindset. If you ain't willing to put out, you ain't willing to receive. That's just all to it. And then lastly, which is my favorite, I align my work with my purpose and ultimately profitability. I stopped believing I had to choose between meaningful work and making money. Listen to me. I love helping people. My purpose in life is to help women succeed. And I had to overcome the fact that I can do meaningful work and I can make money at the same time. And when I realized that, I'm like, oh, where's the pivot at? Where's the pivot? So I ultimately, with coaching, created a career that allowed me to help people and build wealth at the same time. And if your career doesn't allow you to do that and you want to, then there's some soul searching. There's some research that you are going to have to start doing as it pertains to your career. Right. So I was able to unlock both fulfillment and financial growth, which is why this article came out, because I really found a way that I could do the work that I love and make the money that I wanted to, because I truly believe that you don't have to struggle to do meaningful work, and you don't have to feel guilty for wanting more. Oh, God. You don't got to struggle to do meaningful work, and you do not have to feel guilty because you want something more. It's okay to want more and to be fulfilled on your job. Is that a crime? Somebody? It's not a crime, but we have to understand what we want, and we have to be willing to give what it takes to go out there and get that thing. So here's the thing. Quintupling my income wasn't about luck. Because it really wasn't about luck. It was about shifting how I thought about my value, the way I saw myself. It was leveraging what I already had, all the skills that I already had, and investing in my growth and aligning my purpose with profitability. All these things came together because I was very intentional. I was very, very intentional about what I wanted to do and how I wanted to ultimately live my life. And so if you want to live your life like this, number one, don't read the article because it gives some more details as well, but also figure out what it is that you want to do and then start plotting out steps to get there based on where you're already strong. You got this. I know you do. So if you really did love what we talked about today, please like and follow for more. And more importantly, share this with somebody who needs this message. And as always, you have the ability to go out there and create your own happiness. So go out there and get you some. Okay? Peace.